If you were to ask me what would happen if you took Thomas, right? Not this Thomas, the superior J50 Thomas. If you were to take that and mix it with, say, a Hudswell-Clark design, for simplicity's sake we'll say 1334, and shrunk that down to a shunter-sized locomotive, what would you get? I'd probably first say, are you okay? What made you think that? Do you need a hug? And then I'd say you're surprisingly in luck, since I recently asked that same question. What would happen if you took a J50, shrunk it down, and put it on an 040 chassis with pistons? Well, from experience, you get an interesting product, and believe it or not, that's not how it was supposed to go. This was a locomotive built on a lot of what if, so with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get comfortable and let me explain to you how I brought the Curse of Crovans Gate to life. No, but really, are you sure? Do you need anything, like maybe some water? Just anything I can do to help, just let me know. This all began with me wanting to make a J50 variant of Thomas, or really anything closer to Audrey's original model, or drawings of the same variety, just something different from an E2. Though, just like E2s, in real life, J50s are massive locomotives. They are not the small tank engine we normally think of when we think of Thomas. At this point, I thought I was pretty much stuck, since most J50 prints are pretty large, and I wanted my model to actually fit the profile of a small tank engine. Luckily for me, however, Crafty Modeler actually happened to have a J50 locomotive on Thingiverse. I downloaded the model, literally squished it down to a smaller size, and sent it off to Shapeways to be printed. For those interested, he's also gone back and made a smaller variant for public use as well. Unfortunately, at the time it was not around though, so I had to do this part myself. Pretty quickly, Thomas was printed in a high-quality plastic, and the plan I had at first was to take a Bachmann N-Scale Thomas and use that chassis for this model. Unfortunately, this didn't really fit like I hoped it would. But what surprisingly did was a Bachmann N-Scale Percy. With a tad bit of modification to the footplate, it was a surprisingly flush fit, though not a very accurate one since no J50s ever had pistons or an 040 configuration. So it was then I had another idea. If I'm gonna be inaccurate, I might as well go all the way. So to justify the pistons and the design I ended up finding, I also took some inspiration from the Hudswell-Clark locomotive number 1334, another small tank engine that looks kinda like a J50 but is definitely not. It also doesn't have an 040 configuration, but it does have the pistons and industrial look I was going for. You know, I totally could have just said Hudswell-Clark 1800, which was made into Thomas and also has pistons, but I really made this complicated, didn't I? And after that decision was made, the painting of the model started pretty quickly. Both the footplate and body were sanded extensively, primed in a Tamiya light gray, with the body and pistons then being sprayed a dark blue, specifically Tamiya TS15. His buffers were salvaged from the leftover Percy the chassis left, and once that all dried, the running plate was sprayed with a Rust-Oleum gloss red. The top of the footplate, smoke box, and coal bunker were all hand-painted with apple barrel black. I would also salvage a lamp irons, and hook from the Bachmann Percy as well. Without a doubt, the hardest part of this model was his handrails. Each one is custom cut from extra bits of plastic and then glued where they need to go. This process took the better part of 2 hours, and honestly is still the easiest way you can go about doing it. Once they all were applied and painted, however, it was definitely all worth it. Excuse my busted finger, but the back of Thomas is a bit of an enigma. At the top he has a small Bachmann N-Scale Percy lamp. The lamp hooks on the bottom, however, come from a DePaul 00 gauge B4. Definitely a bit oversized, but a welcome detail nonetheless. At this point, I painted his wheels black, gave him a single small safety valve, painted that and the top of his funnel gold, applied some small LMS ones to his front buffer beam and the side of his body, and since at this point Thomas was pretty much already cluttered with detail, I decided to only line his boiler stripes. Just like the Percy I just made, this was done by hand with vinyl and was also a headache. As such, they're not the most even, but even still, I think they tie the model together pretty well. Lastly came adding the coal and bits of coal weathering, and with that, Thomas was pretty much done. Honestly, for a while, I was back and forth on actually lining his sides, but opted not to for simplicity's sake. I really don't want to add too much clutter to the model and already achieved what I set out to do, to make one very fucking unique Thomas model, or as I like to call him, the Curse of Crovans Gate. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed figuring out how he came to be. Now, with all of that being said, just like and subscribe. Do it. Like and subscribe. Like the video. Subscribe. Help me in the YouTube out. Just please, this one time. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Now, jokes aside, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Huge shout out to my patrons on screen for making videos like this possible. And with all of that being said, let's finally see this dude in action.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.